All right. Hello, everyone out there in the wilds of the internet. It's me, ELH, that guy who runs the things. I hope your days are going well. And, Benno, I just love it when you go into anyone's chat, not just mine, but literally anyone's chat. You just emotes everywhere. I love it. I love the energy. I love what you bring to the table. I love it. Also want to say hi to Bacon with Baker. Thank you for being here. Peppy Puppy Sluppy. God, I still love that name. It's an amazing name. Love it. Thank you for being here as well. But yeah, today's going to be a little bit of kind of a mixed bag because I think it's important to kind of talk about what happened because I didn't really handle it the best way. And I think I need to clear the air on a few things, but let's just see what happens. So, okay, hold on. Solus KKJ. I feel like I probably could have said that better, but hello, welcome. Let's see. So, where to begin? So, for those who don't know, on the 20th of last month, April 20th, which is a very ironic day for this to have all happened. Anyway, so April 20th, basically what happened is my players came to me as a group and said, hey, we don't want to play with you anymore. Which, as a game master, that's not what you want to hear from your players. You know, you want to find out why your players don't want to play with you anymore. Like, you want to figure out what you did wrong. And the resounding thing I got back was I was a terrible person. I wasn't giving them agency. A whole list of complaints that in the moment I freaked out about, but when I went back and examined them, didn't really have any basis in reality. And long story short, there's a reason that I don't talk to many people in those groups anymore, and a reason why both Euthenia, Dark Avatar, and pretty much all my other games ended up getting canned because of how bad the situation was. Now, was that the best way to handle it? No. Hell no. That was not the way to handle it. But it's what I needed to do in order to be a mentally sound person, or at least as mentally sound as I can get. But long story short, it was basically a reset switch. It was a reset moment for my content, for my streaming, everything like that. So what's been happening in the past 2-3 weeks is I've taken the time to sit down and think, all right, what can I do to revitalize the channel? What can I do to revitalize my content? What can I do to push forward past this unpleasantness? And in the process of doing that, I actually was able to sit down and finally finish the final draft of Xenos Depths, my newest novel, which is now available on Amazon. Long story short there, Xenos Depths was my NaNoWriMo this year. And it was something that I've had in the works pretty much, I think even before NaNoWriMo. I think I was doing like brainstorming for it back all the way in like September, maybe even August. But long story short, I had an amazing author that worked with me throughout all this, Twisting Curses. He may or may not be in stream. If he is, hi. But Twisting Curses basically sat down and gave me a comprehensive editing to my novel, and it helped a lot. And I was able to make some really not drastic but very important changes to make it a more complete novel. Now, unlike my past works, this is actually a novel. It's not a novella. It is a full 28-chapter, 200-ish page novel. And I'm also publishing this novel under a pen name. Now, you're probably thinking, ELH, why are you doing it under a pen name? That makes no sense whatsoever. The reason I'm doing that is because I want to sort of segregate my two lives, quote unquote, where I can still be a science fiction writer. But what I realized looking at analytics and talking to people is that when people went looking for my books, the books I've put out in the past, the novellas I've put out in the past, they don't find the books. They find my streams, they find my Twitter, they don't find the books. And to be marketable, whatever the hell that term means these days, to be marketable when you're selling a book or when you're trying to share your story to the world, you have to have a unique name, and not just for your novel, but for your author as well. So I did a little Googling, a little bit of name generation, and I came up with the name Michael D. Cinder. Now, as far as I can tell, that name does not exist on the internet outside of one random Facebook page and one random Instagram name. So I went ahead and I grabbed all those accounts, Twitter, Gmail, Amazon, etc. Grabbed all those and published Xenos Depths under this new pen name. Now, what that means is, moving forward, I'm still going to tweet about my novel work on this channel and on this account, the ELH account, but it might be something, depending on how this novel is received, it might be something where I start to shift more towards the writer on that Twitter. That way, again, there's sort of a segregation there. So you guys are still going to get the content. Like, patrons of mine right now can go on Patreon and get a copy of the novel for free. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. If you want to get it for cheap, you can get it on my Patreon. But ultimately what this means is, as I said earlier, it's a reset switch. It's a new way of doing things. We're going to try a lot of things out, and we're going to see what sticks. So the next big announcement I have is that the streaming is going to be resuming, just not as intense as it was. To start with, on Mondays, I will be playing with Yuma Yamano, a phenomenal individual, love her to death. She is doing a mental health kind of awareness thing for May, because apparently it's mental health something or another for May. And for that, what we're going to be doing is, it's a collab with 9 other VTubers, not including Yuma. Case in point, a bunch of us VTubers are getting together, and we are designing these Minecraft challenges. Now you're probably thinking, all right, you Minecraft challenges, that could be literally anything. Kind of is. The basic premise is that each of us is being given a 20 by 20 block, 100 blocks high, so it's a 20 by 20 by 100 space to build an obstacle course in. Now, this obstacle course has to be finished within a minute, but as long as you can finish whatever it is you do in that plot within a minute, it is eligible to be raced against, or eligible to be, have people run through it. And I have a really good idea, or at least I think I have a really good idea. So if you want to see me build in Minecraft, because Lord knows people love Minecraft, you want to go onto Yuma's channel, and Yuma's channel is really easy. It's literally just twitch.tv/Yuma. She actually converted her old partner account, which was a very smart business move, by the way. But we do that every Mondays at 11 p.m., or at least that's when my group is in. There is a second group on, I think it's Saturdays at like 6 p.m. Eastern, or is it 3 p.m. Eastern? It's somewhere in the afternoon, and Yuma's channel is probably going to have a lot more details than I do. But long story short, we are going to be building pretty much the entire month of May, if I understand correctly. And at the end of it, we'll sort of race through each other's buildings and obstacle courses, and there's some sort of prize involved, but I'm not doing it for the prize. I'm just doing it because I want to hang out with people and play Minecraft, really. So that's what's going on Mondays. The next thing is that on Tuesdays, starting the 24th, assuming everything goes well, knock on wood, if everything goes well, Star Trek Drake will be premiering its first live session on May 24th at 9 p.m. That is a Tuesday. Now, for those who did not see the Drake application form, let me fill you in. So Star Trek Drake is in quote-unquote Season 2 or Phase 2 of my expansive canon universe, whatever the name for it is supposed to be. And for this one, we're going back farther than I've really ever gone before, outside of a very brief NX campaign, but I don't think Avenger really went anywhere. I love the players that played in it. I don't think it really went anywhere. If I'm being honest, Avenger really didn't affect canon that I established at all, so we don't really count that. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is we're going back to the year 2195. and we are going to be set on a brand new Walker class. Now, for those who aren't following Star Trek right now, or for those who don't have a wiki page open in Memory Alpha right now, the long story short is that this is going to take place about 40 years after the events of Enterprise, the TV show, and about, if I have my dates right, it's about 40 to 50 years before the events of Discovery. So, in a sense, we are actually going to be playing in a newly created Lost Era that sort of exists between Enterprise and the original series. Now, the reason we're doing that is, again, I want to go back. I want to experiment with, new but old technology, if that makes any sense. And a lot of sort of setting the base for greater stories when I advance the timeline to the next Lost Era, which would be between TOS and TNG. Now, when is that second Lost Era game going to be spun up? I don't know. I have no idea. I got to see how Drake pans out. I got to see what the reception of Drake is, and hell, if I want to start up another Avatar game, that sort of thing. But I'm going to take it slow. I am going to force myself to... Anyone who knows me knows I like going ham, and when I start going ham, I go ham hard. I'm going to deliberately limit myself to one stream for about a month, month and a half, maybe 2 months. And if I feel confident that I can provide a good stream to you all and a good game to the players, then maybe I'll pick up the second game or start sending out feelers for the second game of Star Trek Adventures or Avatar, whatever it is, probably sometime in July, probably around the first week of July if I'm looking at the calendar here. So that's what you have looking forward in terms of Star Trek Adventures and Avatar Legends content. Now, the other thing I know some of you are probably wondering about is what happened to the Neshikoto project. Long story short there, for those who didn't follow that at all, basically the Neshikoto project was a way for me to experiment with more variety streaming, because on this channel I do just chatting and tabletop role-playing games. That's all I do. That's all I do on this channel. But the reason that for this Neshikoto project is to experiment with variety streaming, experiment with a more regular schedule in the afternoons, at least Eastern time. And unfortunately, when all this unpleasantness happened back on the 20th of April, it was one of those things where that project got put on hold. And I don't know when that project's coming back, but eventually I would like to resume that project because I think it has a lot of potential, and I think it's really going to satisfy my need to do something in the afternoon, because Lord knows I can only spend so many, hours of the day writing or so many hours of the day playing video games. Like, I need an outlet, a social outlet, and I think the Neshikoto project is probably going to be the best way to do that. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, I will go ahead and type the command in chat. But that link in chat is basically what you want to check out, drop follows, etc., etc. All right, what else do I have on my agenda here? And yes, I did write it in an agenda down. Let me see. Ah, yes. So in terms of other streams moving forward, so like I said, for probably the 24th onward, there's only really going to be a regular Star Trek game on Tuesdays. There's probably going to be a few collabs here and there. It really depends if I can rope Benno into something or if I can rope, Congo into something, though I think Congo has some... Yeah, Congo comes back on the 16th, and he has some amazing things planned. So maybe not with Congo. I think he's busy for a while. But maybe, grab Hal back in here. Grab some of the other VTubers that love... I see you, Benno. I see you. But basically grab, other tabletop role-playing games, VTubers, and drag them into the mix. Get them introduced to not only myself, but the community, that sort of thing. And really what I love is that the tabletop role-playing community and VTubers, there's been a lot more overlap that I've noticed, at least in the past 2 months. So I'm really eager to go out and begin sort of like poking people and be like, hey, you want to play some games? Hey, Benno, hey, Benno, you want to play a game? Benno? Maybe? Um, but yeah, it's one of those things where I'm going to be probably reaching out feelers to quite a number of VTubers, and we'll just see who replies. It's one of those things where, how to say this? If this was a if this was a more traditional sort of format, I could just put out an application form and let people apply. But for VTubers, you got to go hunting. For VTubers, you have to sort of pull on your connections and say, hey, you know this person. Can you get them to talk to me? Or, hey, can you pass this by this person and see if they're interested? So if it works, great. If it doesn't, well, I've got other things planned. Remind me, Benno, to get back with you, Witchy, and Sarek. I remember I was supposed to run a one-shot for you, and that didn't happen. I'll get back to me. Get back to me on that. Remind me if I don't remember that. You know what? I'm just gonna make a note here. I'm just gonna make a note. Hold on. Okay. All right. I'll follow up with Benno, Sark, and Witchy, and we'll maybe get another D&D one-shot going because those were fun. I really enjoyed those. But yeah. Honestly, that's all I really wanted to talk about. Unless anybody has any questions they have in chat. I'll probably be on taking questions for the next 4 or 5 minutes, but this was always going to be just a very short stream to sort of clear the air and otherwise, affirm for you guys that yes, I'm coming back. Yes, I'm going to be streaming again in the future. So don't go anywhere, stick around. I guarantee that you will definitely enjoy what's to come. But yeah, it's a thing. It's As bad as the events of the 20th were, I think it was kind of a wake-up call that things needed to change one way or another. And looking back at the community, it's kind of a funny thing. Things like this seem to happen on a yearly basis. I'm not going to name names or revisit super old drama, but things like this seem to happen on a yearly or a year-and-a-half basis. And it's something that my mods and I, and Thok, if Thok ever listens to this VOD, it's something that we joke about quite a bit. We're like, oh, it's been a year. Is it time for something else to explode? But yeah, I don't know if that's a sign of something bad with me or if that's just the way life works. I don't fucking know. All I know is that it is very consistently one big event a year, which, in the grand scheme of things, isn't that bad in terms of drama. One big drama event a year, it's not bad. I mean, it's not great, but it's not bad considering how much drama there is these days with other people. Yeah, I'm not going to dig myself into that hole. You know what I mean. If you want to find drama, it's very easy to find drama, especially among VTubers. But yeah, what else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and I still have to talk to Yuma about this, but Yuma kind of helped in getting me to reignite that tabletop role-playing passion, in that she didn't know I was in the stream when she went ahead and ranked her streaming of tabletop role-playing games for the last year. And she ended up rating the tabletop game, the Pokemon game that I ran for her, extremely highly. And that was a very touching moment. Yuma, if you're listening, seriously, it meant a lot to hear that in that moment. But it's something where I want to try and run something for Yuma again. If I understood what she said correctly, she's interested in doing so again if she can find time for it. But she's also interested in trying her hand out as a game master. And I'm all for that. Like, I want to support Yuma being a game master as much as I can. Because that's kind of how you get people into the hobby, is you bring them in as a player, you give them a good experience, then they start to think, oh, well, maybe I can be a game master. You encourage the hell out of them, and you set them up to succeed, and then they do. And then they bring in new people. The cycle repeats. So, in a way, this is me... I guess you would call it a mentor relationship, if you want to think of it that way. But I want to, again, just kind of set Yuma up to succeed best I can. Because, another game master? Yes, please. We'll take them. But yeah. Alright, well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, that's about all the time I have for right now. Tomorrow evening, again at 11 p.m., will be on Yuma's channel. And probably every Monday, I'm looking at the calendar here, I think we go to, what is it, the 23rd, or is it the 30th? Let me quickly look. I think it's either the 23rd or the 30th that I'll be on Yuma's channel every Monday at 11 p.m. Eastern. And then again, Star Trek Drake starts on the 24th at 9 p.m. Eastern. But yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you being here. And we'll see you around. Bye, stream.